Christine McGuinness didn't eat a single meal in high school as she battled an eating disorder. The model, now 33, has opened up about her anorexia in her new book A Beautiful Nightmare, published by Mirror Books, as she explained how she found it hard to socialize with her classmates because of her struggles with food. Christine says her eating struggles only added another dimension to her feelings of isolation whilst at school. I couldn't blend in with the musical group or the drama or sporty cliques, as much as I would have liked to, she shared in her book. And my eating struggles added another dimension to my isolation. I missed out on socializing, because dinner time was the only period when you could sit and have a laugh with your friends. I didn't have one meal throughout high school, so I definitely didn't mix with others then. Christine says her anorexia still causes her problems now, but she is getting better. She added, "One of my biggest problems throughout my childhood was my eating disorder. I had anorexia for years, and if I'm being completely honest, it still can be a problem in my life now, but I'm getting better." Although I don't think it's something you ever fully get over. It started when I was 8, and it was pretty bad for about 10 years. She remembers always being very fussy with food and started skipping meals at school as a result. I was just very fussy with food, very much like my children are now. I never liked anything with too much color, texture or smell, and I started skipping meals at school. I always felt like I didn't fit in, so in the classroom it was okay, she shared. But when you went to the dining hall, that was a social experience I just couldn't deal with. Even queuing up for the food used to give me major anxiety. I didn't know where to sit or who to sit with. Christine's food struggles were seen by one dinner lady, who always made sure to make her a special sandwich each day so she would at least eat something. She said, "One of the dinner ladies noticed and asked why I was throwing my lunch away every day. 'Oh, it's just too wet,' I told her. So, in a bid to help me, every single dinner time this lady would make me my own sandwich. It was on dry bread, with one slice of cheese, and she'd cut the crusts off for me. It was my ideal little sandwich." When Christine moved in with Patty, he did everything he could to help her get over her aversions to food. It happened while they were struggling to conceive because she was so thin. Christine, who is now mom to twins Penelope and Leo, 8, and Felicity, 5, was told she had polycystic ovary syndrome, which meant she wasn't ovulating in order to get pregnant, something they'd been trying for a long time. To get pregnant, she needed to gain weight so her periods would start again, and that's where Patty stepped in. Christine said, My husband would give me food in little dribs and drabs, so that I didn't even notice. It was in such a soft way. Instead of confronting me with a piled-up plate, like he'd say, "Oh, try this." Although he never actually said anything, he knew I was struggling with my anorexia. He started organizing little come dine with me parties, for us and close friends, because he knew I'd never eat in a restaurant with him. He was clever, because he'd figured out a way to get me to eat where I felt comfortable. His brother and his partner would host an evening, and then his cousins would put on a meal. I think they knew there was a problem, because my dinner was always different to everyone else's, but it worked, and slowly my periods began reappearing. After welcoming her treasured children, who are all autistic, Christine's battle with food continued. Patty had to call an ambulance for Christine a number of times, but she said a wake-up call came when she collapsed while she was alone with the children. She wrote, "My struggle to eat has stayed with me throughout my life, and when I'm stressed now, eating is the last thing on my mind. Worryingly, it became a regular thing for me to faint. I fainted all throughout my teenage years and my 20s. My husband has called an ambulance out for me a few times. Even during lockdown, I fainted and had to explain to the paramedics that I just hadn't eaten for a while. The real wake-up call was when I collapsed when I was alone with the twins. It's something I'll never forgive myself for." Penelope and Leo were in their cribs and I must have leant over to put one of them down. I remember falling down to the ground. I don't know how long I was out for, but it was probably minutes before I came back around. I knew what had happened, as it wasn't uncommon to pass out, but this time was worse because it was the first time it happened while I was on my own with the children. It solidified in my mind that I just couldn't ever let that happen again. It upsets me just thinking about it, and I'm ashamed of it. I've got to make sure I stay healthy for the kids. I can't risk being unwell. I need to live forever and be around for as long as possible for the children. You can talk in confidence to an advisor from Eating Disorders Charity Beat by calling their adult helpline on 0808-801-0677 or youth helpline on 0808-801-0711. Pre-order Christine McGuinness, A Beautiful Nightmare, RRP £20, out 25th of November, and save £5 with the offer code XA9. Order online at mirrorbooks.co.uk.